Welcome. If you are trying to buy your first home in Australia, you need to stop what you are doing and listen. The dream of finding an affordable property feels like it's slipping away. And 2025 is shaping up to be a critical year before the market takes another big leap. The numbers don't lie. The market is about to take a perfect storm of policy changes and falling interest rates. And if you miss this window, it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars. Australia's property market is gearing up for another price surge, with most major banks forecasting solid growth over the next couple of years. For anyone already struggling with the housing affordability crisis, that feels like a punch to the gut. It can feel pretty hopeless. But what if I told you it's not? In this video, I am not just going to explain why the prices are tipped to rise. I'm going to give you a playbook to help you beat the market and secure your home. This isn't about fear mongering, it's about understanding the financial forecast from the country's major banks, and getting your head around that is the first step to turning the tables. Before we dive in, let me introduce myself. My name is Kuldeep, and I'm a former program manager who made a career pivot to become a property professional. I work as a licensed buyer's agent with a passion for helping other professionals and business owners navigate the world of property and build a solid retirement portfolio. I know the discipline and strategic thinking it takes to build a great career, and I want to help you apply that same discipline to your personal finances and your property goals. So, if you are serious about taking control of your financial future and want more strategies to build wealth through property, hit that subscribe button right now. And now let's get straight to the facts. The Australian housing market is at a turning point as we move through 2025. Major banks like CBA and ANZ have been upgrading their forecast. CBA is now predicting a 6% national home price growth in 25, and ANZ is forecasting 5, followed by another 5.8 in 2026. NAB has also tipped 6% growth for capital cities in 2025. So what does this actually mean for you? It's simple. Waiting could cost you a lot of money. A home that cost 700,000 today could cost you an extra 35,000 to 42,000 by this time next year, based on those 5 to 6% forecast. That's another year or two of savings just to stay in the same spot. By the end of 2026, with another jump, the same home could be almost 80,000 more expensive than it is right now. The goalposts aren't just moving, they feel like they are sprinting away. That feeling of hopelessness is real. But the game isn't over. You just need to understand the rules that are changing, because 2025 looks like the last year of the old rulebook. So, why is 2025 such a critical year? Why are so many experts pointing to this specific year as a tipping point? It's not just one thing, but a perfect storm of three economic tsunamis all converging at once. First, let's talk about the elephant in the room: interest rates. For the last couple of years, rising rates have been the handbrake on the property market. They made borrowing expensive and pushed a lot of buyers to the sidelines. But that's about to change. Most economists are now anticipating interest rate cuts starting from late 2025. NAB and Westpac, for instance, have both flagged November 25 as the likely start for the cuts. As soon as the Reserve Bank cuts rates, borrowing money gets cheaper. Historically, even a small cut can increase borrowing capacity and inject a huge amount of new confidence into the market, pouring fuel on an already smoldering fire. Acting in 2025 means you could lock in a loan before a new wave of demand potentially sends prices climbing. The second tsunami is the evolution of government support. For years, first home buyers have relied on a mix of grants and schemes to get a foot in the door. But these helping hands are changing. The big one to watch is the Help to Buy shared equity scheme. It's expected to launch in 2025, allowing eligible buyers to purchase a home with a deposit as small as 2%, with the government contributing up to 40% for a new build. While this sounds amazing, it has its limits. The scheme is legislated, but the final launch date is still pending, and it will be capped at 10,000 places a year. This is likely to create a massive rush of competition and could push up prices for those who miss out. What's available in 2025 might not be the same in 2026, meaning the support you are counting on could change. We are also seeing an extension of some state grants, like Queensland $30,000 first home owner grant for new builds, which has been extended till June 2026. The third and the most powerful tsunami is the one that's been building for a decade: the chronic, unstoppable housing supply crisis. Australia is simply not building enough homes. The government's own advisory body, the National Housing Supply and Affordability Council, released a sobering report. They estimate Australia is on track to fall short of its 1.2 million new homes target by a staggering 262,000 homes by mid 2029. When you factor in demolitions, the net new supply will be thousands of dwellings less than what our growing population needs. The report points to labor shortages, high material cost, and slow planning systems. What this means is the fundamental law of economics: supply versus demand is working against you. Where demand consistently outstripping supply, prices have a long term pressure pushing them up. This isn't a short term issue, it's a structural crisis that will likely define the market for the next decade. 2025 is a chance to get in before the supply deficit becomes even more severe. In a nutshell, these three things add up to heat up the market dramatically. That's why 2025 is the critical window to get ahead of the curve. Hearing all that can feel overwhelming. It can feel like the dream is dead. But this is where we shift from problem to solution. This is where you take back control. The biggest hurdle for any first home buyer is the deposit. But the myth that you absolutely need a 20% deposit is the one biggest dream killers out there. In 2025, it's also just not true for many people. Let's talk about the 5% deposit hack. Thanks to government initiatives like the First Home Guarantee, eligible buyers can purchase a home with as little as 5% deposit, and the government will guarantee the rest, meaning you avoid paying thousands in lender's mortgage insurance. For a 600,000 home, a 20% deposit is a daunting $120,000. A 5% is just 30,000. Suddenly, the impossible feels a lot more possible. Starting from October 1st, 2025, the government has announced it will be removing the caps on the number of places for this scheme, making it accessible to all the eligible first home buyers who meet the criteria. But here's where your strategy gets powerful. You need to learn to stack your benefits. Don't just use one scheme, combine them where you can. For example, you could use a 5% deposit from the first home guarantee and stack it with your state's first home owner's grant. In Victoria, that's a 10,000 grant for new homes. That's 10,000 can go directly towards your deposit and cost. Then there's the brand new National Help to Buy scheme, which is expected to open for applications in 2025. This could allow you to buy with just a 2% deposit. For a 500,000 property, that's a deposit of only $10,000. The government co-invests up to 30% for an existing home or 40% for a new build, which lowers your loan amount and mortgage repayments. Imagine buying a 500,000 home, you provide 10,000, which is 2%, the government provides 150,000, which is 30%. You would only need a loan for the remaining 340,000. It's a potential game changer. And for those with family support, a parental guarantee can be a game changer. This allows a family member to use the equity in their own home as a security for a portion of your loan, eliminating the need for a huge deposit. Let me give you a real world example of how this works. An Australian couple recently bought their first home with just $27,000. They did this by combining a 5% deposit with the first home owner grant and a parental guarantee, where a family member uses the equity in their own home as a security. This is the new formula for success. It's not about saving an impossible amount of money, it's about understanding the system and making it work for you. I know this is a ton of information and the rules can be different in every state. To make it easier, I have put together a complete 2025 first home buyer checklist. It breaks down the strategies, has the links to the government grants, and includes a budget planner to get you started. It's totally free, and the link is in the description below. Go download it because your journey starts with having the right map. Now, knowing how to get a deposit is only half the battle. The other half is knowing where to buy. If you are only looking at suburbs where prices are already hitting record heights, you are playing in the wrong field. The smart money in 2025 is heading to affordable suburbs with strong future growth drivers. Forget the glamour postcodes, we are hunting for value. Here's a look at the type of areas you should be targeting right now with median prices that are still within reach for many first home buyers. Let's start with Melbourne. The city is forecast to make a comeback. with some experts predicting strong growth in 2026 after a slower period. This presents a unique opportunity. Look towards the growth corridors. In areas like Melton and Werribee in the west, you can still find houses well under the city's median. The key here is growth drivers. These areas are benefiting from huge infrastructure spending, including new rail lines and freeway upgrades, which historically leads to property price growth. In Sydney, the challenge is greater, but the strategy is the same: follow the infrastructure. While the median house price seems out of this world, pockets of affordability still exist. Look to the western Sydney suburbs like Blacktown and the surrounding areas. These regions are at the center of huge government and private investment, including the new airport and related transport links, which creates jobs and improves livability. Don't just look at what the suburb is today, look at what it will be 5 to 10 years because of these projects. Now for Brisbane, which has seen incredible growth. While prices have surged, suburbs in the Ipswich and Logan City Council areas still offer relative affordability. Brisbane's population is booming and it's gearing up for the 2032 Olympics, which is driving major infrastructure projects. These aren't just stadiums, they are transport upgrades and urban renewal projects that will have a lasting positive impact on the property values in the suburb nearby. In Perth, areas like Byford and Armadale are seeing major investment in transport and road networks, such as the Tonkin Highway extension. These projects make the outer suburbs more accessible and desirable, driving demand. The pattern is clear. Your bet isn't to buy in the most popular suburbs today, but in the suburb that will be transformed by the infrastructure tomorrow. Do your research, look at the state government infrastructure plans, identify the new train stations, hospital upgrades, and town center revitalizations. That is where you will find the growth that turns an affordable home today into a fantastic long term investment. Just as important as knowing what to do is knowing what not to do. In a market full of urgency and FOMO, it's incredibly easy to make a huge mistake. Here are the traps you must avoid at all cost in 2025. First, beware of overhyped markets. These are areas that see a sudden sharp prices spike driven by media hype rather than solid fundamentals. This is often seen in trendy, sea change, or tree change spots. While the appeal is obvious, that kind of explosive growth often isn't sustainable. Stick to areas with diverse economics, strong infrastructure pipelines, and consistent population growth. Second, you have to look past the purchase price and understand the hidden cost. This is classic rookie error. Your deposit is just the start. You need to budget for stamp duty, which can be tens of thousands of dollars. You need to account for legal fees, bank fees, and potentially LMI if you are not using government scheme. And critically, you need a buffer for maintenance. A new looking property can hide a world of expensive problems. Underestimating these costs can put you under serious financial stress from day one. Finally, and most importantly, do not skip your due diligence on a property itself, especially with new builds. The pressure to build homes quickly has led to a documented decline in building standards in some developments. A poor quality build can turn your dream home into a financial nightmare of endless repairs. Always get an independent building and pest inspection. Look for red flags, signs of water damage, major cracks in the walls, shoddy workmanship, and lack of transparency from the seller. If something feels off, it probably is. Trust your gut and be prepared to walk away. Another property will always come along, a bad one will drain your finances and your spirit for years. Rushing into a bad purchase because you are scared of missing out is the single biggest risk you face. This is not a spectator sport. To succeed in 2025, you need a plan and you need to start now. But what do you do? This week, this month, this year. So here is your month by month action plan to get you from dreaming to owning. This week is your financial health check week. First, pull your credit report. It's free and you need to know if there are any errors that could stop a loan application in its tracks. Second, contact a mortgage broker. Don't just go directly to your bank. A good broker is your single greatest asset. They will assess your situation, tell you exactly how much you can borrow, and guide you through the maze of lenders and government schemes to find the best deal for you. Getting pre approval is your number one priority, is the green light that allows you to start hunting seriously. This is your research and education phase. Use the borrowing capacity your broker have given you. Start shortlisting suburbs. Use the strategy we discussed. Look for affordable postcodes with major infrastructure projects on the horizon. Go online, create a budget, and track every dollar. You need to show a lender you have a solid saving history, even if it is for a short period. Start attending open homes. You are not there to buy yet, you are there to learn. Get a feel for what your money buys in your target areas. Talk to real estate agents. Ask them about recent sales and what the local market is doing. Become an expert on your chosen suburbs. This is your execution phase. With pre approval in hand and a shortlist of suburbs, it's time to hunt with intent. You need to be ready to act quickly when the right property comes up. When you find a place you love, don't get emotional. Refer back to your checklist, get the contract reviewed by a solicitor or conveyancer, arrange a building and pest inspection. If everything checks out and the price is right, it's time to make an offer. Once your offer is accepted, your broker and solicitor will guide you through the final steps to settlement. This part of the process is the whirlwind, which is why all the prep work you do now is so critical. So, what's the big takeaway here? We have looked at the hard economic data showing why 2025 is a critical year, with prices expected to rise, driven by potential interest rate cuts and a severe housing shortage. We have broken down the myth of 20% deposit and shown you the exact strategies to buy with as little as 2% or 5%. And we have laid out a clear action plan to get you started today. The Australian dream of home ownership is not dead, but it's changing. The days of casually saving for a few years and buying a home are pretty much over. We are in a new era that demands strategy, knowledge, and a sense of urgency. You are now standing in a window of opportunity before the market potentially shifts into a higher gear, a gear that could make it even tougher for people to get in. You can keep standing on the sidelines, feeling hopeless as prices climb, or you can take the playbook we have gone through today and decide to fight for your future. The choice is yours. If you are serious about this, your next step is simple. Download the complete 2025 First Home Buyers Checklist from the link in the description. It will walk you through everything we have discussed. Subscribe to this channel for weekly updates on the property market to stay ahead of the curve. And finally, I want to hear from you. Comment below with the cities you are targeting. I read and reply every single comment. Let's start the conversation and get you into your first home.